What's up, you guys? Quentin Flores here. I'm kicking it in my brand new studio. I just got done building this thing myself. Super exciting. So my wife and I just closed on our homestead. So we have a badass house. I got my own space to record now, and I'm just super excited to deliver content to you guys. So today what I want to talk about is creating marketing buckets for your business, all right? So now that I got my own place where I can record, my son's not gonna be running around messing with me. You guys know how it is to have a 5-year-old. You know, I'm just super excited to be able to be consistent with some of the YouTube videos that I'm gonna be dropping. Like, subscribe, share. Today, we're gonna be going into deep dive, literal, like how you should be pulling data for your business. Data is gonna be the most important part. I mean, guys, if you're wholesaling real estate, a lot of y'all have no idea how to pull records. So we're gonna be going over that today. I'll see you guys after the intro. And remember, watch this all the way through.
You see the leaves fall off, you thought the family tree would die, but these roots run deep below ground zero, that's the vibes. This never dies. No one knows how this all started, they just see us flex online.
So the 4 types of lists that you're gonna need to get, and this is probably going to be your most expensive purchase. Again, I'm saving you thousands. I think if you bought these lists on ListSource, the price total would equate to somewhere around, I think, $7,000 to $8,000 for all of these different types of lists. So check this out, okay? So the first list that we're gonna have to pull, guys, is called the free and clear. That's number 1. The second list that we're gonna be pulling, guys, is the unknown equity list. The third list that we're gonna be pulling after this is the high equity list. No filters, guys, none. Okay? And then the fourth one, this one's also extremely important. These are your low equity records. Means that they barely have any equity in the home. These are prime subject to deals, okay? So these are the 4 lists that you're going to be creating one entire bucket. This entire thing's probably gonna be somewhere between 100K records and 200K records. All right, now they're not considered leads. A lead is something that you've talked to, someone who's interested in selling their property, okay? Now a prospect, that's what this is, are people that we're identifying. We're gathering as much data as we possibly can. Now guys, this right here for me, this is what I call this data. I call it foundation data. This is going to be basically you getting the bulk of the information for property owners. Now what I do with all of this data is I upload it to REI Sift, okay? Because I want to manage all of this. I tag the data, literally timestamp the data from where I pulled the data from, the source that I pulled it from, the time frame that I pulled it, what I used to skip trace it. Everything has to be organized. And with REI Sift, you're able to really tag all of those records, okay? Now, after you have this, now guys, at this point, you gotta get actual lists that are motivation indicators. I'm saying that it's a reason that someone's gonna wanna sell their property, okay? You're looking for an actual reason that someone's going to wanna sell their property. These are called motivation indicator lists, okay? So with this being said, once you've gathered this amount of data, what we're going to do now is we're gonna stack this data against these other leads that are the reasons why someone will wanna sell. Let's go ahead and start naming a few. Number 1, guys, remember, these are motivation indicators. Right? What are those motivation indicators? Let's go over this, okay? We'll say tax delinquency, behind on taxes, right? That's one solid list. What's the next one, guys? Let's do pre-foreclosure, right? This is another prime list that everybody goes after. How about vacancy? Properties that are currently vacant, that haven't been fully occupied in a while. Probate, right? That's death right there, meaning most of the time an estate has to be liquidated. What's another one, guys, that we can think of that's a solid motivation indicator? We have tax delinquency, pre-foreclosure, vacant, probate. Drop your reason that someone will want to sell in the comments. Let's do this one. Senior citizen. Let's do another one. Water shutoff. Fire damage. So essentially, guys, when you start breaking all of this down, if you look at what we have here, all of this data in total, probably equates to about maybe 20,000 records, right? Maybe 20 to 30,000. Now, what we want to do is we want to take this entire list that we have, this giant, massive amount. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different lists. And we want to stack them against our foundation data, which is going to equal the 2,000 prospects that we're actually aiming for versus the 100,000 to the 20,000, 30,000. How much marketing dollars would you have to spend to plow through 180,000 records? It would cost you so much money and so much time. So when you stack your records together like so, you're able to actually identify a small bucket of highly qualified prospects. And now that you have this small bucket, you can spend the money on your skip tracing and your cold calling. And it's going to cost you but a fraction of what it would have costed you if you just stuck with marketing to this many leads. And guys, I promise you, man, I know too many people that are spending way too much money doing this the absolute wrong way. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna showcase the platform on my computer. And guys, I'll see y'all in just one more second. All right, guys, so this is how you pull that data using PropStream, and I'm gonna show you guys my criteria when pulling that data. You know, again, guys, click the link in the description. You're a fool if you don't sign up with this. So check this out right now, right? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna switch my screen. So this is PropStream. This is technically, this is my market. It's really tagging it, but let's go ahead and search my county. And then I'm just gonna show y'all how I build my filters for low equity, high equity, and then the free and clear, okay? So first things first, you can see all these tabs that are up top to kind of show you some of the records that you can pull. That right there, my friend, is a lot of high equity records. We don't need all of that. So let's go ahead and start building this out. If I go to quick list choices, I can select the high equity filter. Where the hell did it go? I'm blind. There it is, boom. Now that's going to be my base that I'm going to build this off of. So owner occupied, any. Occupancy status, any, doesn't matter to me, but this right here is what matters to me. I'm gonna do single family and we're gonna do residential. Now you can add parameters here for the sake of numbers. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do this too. I want minimal 2 bedrooms and I'll go ahead and cap it at 5. Bathrooms can be anywhere between 1 to 3. And then the building size for me, I like doing between 500 square feet and 3,000 square feet. Lot size anywhere between, let's say 300, let's say 3,000 and 9,000, just so we're not leaving anything out. Year built, I'll do from 1900 all the way to, because it's an old city, 2010. I think 11 years equity is just fine. So this is what I'm doing to break it down even further. So let's go ahead and go to the MLS status. We want all these properties to be off market. You see how I'm just narrowing this down? We went from 400,000 records to 182. Let's go to ownership info. I only want the properties that are owned by an individual. Years of ownership should be minimal between 10 and 30 max. Let's go ahead and say the pre-probate deceased owners. We want to definitely any that. Now you can add a tax exemption if you'd like. Like you could do equity, like high equity, like let's say it's a senior, right? This is gonna show that there's senior citizens who owe a mortgage against their house, or maybe a veteran or a widow, or some sort of exemption. Let's say a disabled person has this much equity in their property. So these are just things that you can look at. We'll create patterns like that on another video, and I'll show you guys how you can narrow down your criteria. So make sure you watch this stuff all the way through. Now guys, I also have to make sure that y'all understand this. As you're building out your criteria, it's different for each market, but have fun with it, play with it, and use it gracefully. Otherwise, you'll get very burnt out quick trying to figure out the best list. I'm literally giving it to you on a silver platter. Maximize the crap out of this, okay? So going back to this here, let's go ahead and go to the valuation and equity info. So I like, for like high equity is different for everybody, but I do between 50 and 100%. Estimated equity. Let's see, that's 76,856 properties. Pretty much the same, guys, pretty much the same. So mortgage info here, let's go ahead and exclude free and clear properties. And boom, guys, now we have 45,000 records that completely don't have, that they're not paid off. There's a mortgage on them. And this is a niche list. So you can literally just add this to your criteria and then kind of just go ahead and do your thing. So the next list that we're gonna show you how to pull is the low equity list. It's very simple, very straightforward. Check this out. So you wanna go back to filters, all right? And what we're going to do is start from the beginning, except this time we're gonna go to mortgage info. We're gonna go to evaluation and equity. You wanna do, let's say between 5% equity and 30%, meaning that they haven't really paid their property off at all. And now you have your 75,000 records. Go to property characteristics and then select single family residential, and then boom. Now you have your low equity list. And you can add more parameters to break this list down if you would like, but same thing you do is you click this right here and then you add it to your list and you're pretty much good to go. Now, the last one that you can pull from PropStream, unknown equity hasn't been added to this yet, but you can still grab that list at thedatafleet.com. I'll drop a link in the description for you guys. But as you're pulling records, guys, I mean, you'll have fun with data. Just with PropStream, you'll be able to do a lot with high equity, low equity, and free and clear, period. So let's go into this. Let me show you guys how to do the free and clear list. You go to the mortgage info here and you want to include free and clear. That's the first thing that you do. And then you start building out your parameters the exact same way that you were doing it on the last one. And bada bing, bada boom, this number will start going down as you start breaking down your criteria even further. So guys, you know, definitely maximize these three lists. Once you pull them, then you can put them into REI Sift where you can start creating marketing buckets. And let me show you exactly what that means. So this here is REI Sift, guys, and there's so much that you can do. I mean, this thing's coming out with a task calendar very soon. It's a basic CRM for data. I love it, you know, and so you'll be able to see the amount of data that we have. It's unlimited. You can put in 25,000 records a month, and it even tells you how, like, when the records become vacant. So there's just so much that you can do here. But let me show you guys the power of what it is that I'm talking about, okay? So this is an individual that's been on our radar for a minute. This guy is on 11 lists. So I pulled every single reason why someone would want to sell their property, and I stacked it against the address, because this address was found on every single list. He's a retired veteran, his property's in foreclosure. He has high equity on that house, so he's almost paid it off. He owes taxes against the property, filed for bankruptcy. He makes less than $20,000 a year, and he's on a senior list, and he tried to refinance this property. As you can see, I was even able to get the correct phone numbers. This is a property that we closed on last month. So super exciting stuff, guys. But once you have your data in here, you can literally start creating tags for everything that you do in the business. These are all tags that we have. I'm always tagging when I'm skip tracing my data, when I'm uploading my data, the places that I pull that data, the sources that I'm using, everything, guys. That way I can track all of the stuff that I'm currently doing. You see how I'm removing tags, I'm adding tags, we're adding the lists, we're doing all kinds of stuff. And this is just your go-to platform for really managing your data. So let me show you guys now on the whiteboard about creating real marketing bucket lists, okay? And why this is super important, because you can seriously break down your criteria. You know what? Actually, screw the whiteboard. How about I just show you? Check this out. So what I'm gonna do for you guys right now is I'm gonna create a reason why someone would want to sell their property. So we're gonna filter through these records first, okay? Let me go ahead and remove all of these blocks. So this is the block system where I can really just break down my stuff. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and check out the high equity that we have for San Antonio. High equity is going to be the first one. Let's go ahead and add some parameters. So let's do absentee, yes. Vacant property, yes. And just that right there, let's apply that. Right now we're looking at 2,073 records that are currently on this simple thing that I put up. So check this out, guys. This is one lead here, 430 Sun FLS Street, 123 Nancy Place, right? This is where you can look at how many stacks that you have against it. Check this out. Not only is this guy in high equity, he's on a code enforcement list, bad credit, he has a lien against his house, he's behind in taxes, and the property suffered from water damage. On top of it, look at this, guys, it's marked as vacant. So this is a prospect here. I'm gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and select the status of this as a prospecting, because I obviously wasn't able to get a hold of the correct person. So otherwise their number would be here. This is a lead that I'm definitely gonna wanna go after. So this is the power of like being able to have control of your data to create high probability leads using the high equity list that I pulled among all of those motivation indicator lists that I talked about on the whiteboard. So, I mean, guys, it's a no-brainer. Definitely get REI Sift, because I promise you guys, this is like a game-changing software, okay? So, I hope you guys got value from this. So, let's go ahead and close this video out. Thank y'all so much for tuning into this video. We're gonna be doing a full-blown series on creating marketing buckets as well as scaling your company very gracefully, guys. I'm all about doing more with less. So for everybody that's watching this, I highly recommend these two videos. Click on them, watch them through. If you're really trying to get a hold of your wholesaling business and saving all that money on your data and your skip tracing, everything, click on these videos now, all right, guys? So like, subscribe, share, tune into the next video, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you guys on the next one.